By the end of this video, you are going to be able to draft an half-scale bodice block, that is from the shoulder to the waistline, perfectly, and I'm going to be showing you every details of a basic bodice block. So if you are new to my channel, welcome to the Fashionistas All by Amy, where you're going to be getting it right from the scratch. And if you are a former subscriber, thank you and welcome back. In the previous video, we've talked about the tools needed to start your pattern making journey. So if you missed the video, you can simply check out the page so that you can fully understand the tools before watching the video on how to draft a basic bodice block. Now let's get right into it. So this is our pattern paper now. So I'm going to be folding the front on fold, and we're going to be leaving the back straight. Yes, I want to be able to explain this in detail. That is why I just want to fold this pattern on fold for the center front. So we're going to be folding this with the fullest part of either our bust or our waist. So here now it is the bust that is the fullest part. We're going to be using the bust divided by 4 plus 1 inch ease. So that is what is going to determine what I'm going to be using to fold this part. I'm going to be using that measurement for the front and also for the back. So on the pattern paper here, I've already marked out the starting point so that we can all clearly see where the measurement is starting from. Please, I want you all to pay close attention to this. Here I'm trying to measure out the chest line. How do we measure the chest line? The chest line is going to be the back width divided by 2 plus half inch. The back width divided by 2 plus half inch. Please note, the back width is the same thing as the shoulder measurement. Yes, I'm going to drop the example there. So the next thing to measure is our shoulder to nipple. Yes, the shoulder to nipple is also very important, and you have to mark it out. So the next thing to measure out now is the shoulder to waistline. Yes, the shoulder to waistline. If you have seen the measurement video, you know we have from the shoulder to the true waistline. So that is where the half length is going to be. So here now I'll simply demarcate the front bodies and the back bodies. Yes, so that we'll see how we're going to measure both clearly. So now the same thing we did for the front, where we did our bust measurement divided by 4, we're going to be using that same measurement to get out the back space. That is the space where we're going to be working with our bodies. And don't forget to add ease on the block. Yes, that is in case you want to add that or there is any excess. So that is the essence of the ease on the block. So next thing to do is to measure the same chest line we measured at the front, which is the same thing as our shoulder measurement or our back width divided by 2 plus half inch. So whatever answer we have, that is going to be our chest line. So and next we're going to be measuring the waistline. At the back we don't have the nipple, we don't have the breast at the back, so it is just the shoulder to the waistline. After measuring the shoulder to waistline at the back, you will notice that the back half length and the front half length is different. There's a difference there. Yes, the difference is what we're going to be using for the bust dart. If you've seen the measurement video, you would understand this properly. We don't have breasts at the back, so it is this difference that will help us balance up our patterns and also create fullness for the bust to sit in at the front. So let's move on to drafting. Now we clearly have our lines, which is the starting point line, the shoulder to chest line, yes, which is our back width divided by 2 plus half, our shoulder to nipple at the front, and our shoulder to waistline at the front also. And at the back we have the starting point line, then our shoulder to chest line, then the shoulder to chest line, which is the same thing as what we used at the front, and the shoulder to waistline. So those are the lines we need to first of all measure out. So the next thing now is to measure out our back width. So the back width measurement is going to be marked on the starting point line and also on the chest line. Please do well to take notes. If need be, you need to take notes if possible. So this will help you understand and assimilate this very well. Next, we're going to measure the bust circumference. Yes, measure out the bust circumference and measure out the waist circumference. So after measuring out the waist circumference, note that you need to add the dart allowance to the measurement. Yes, the dart allowance. If you're going to be using 1 inch for the dart, just add everything. I'll be connecting all these points later. Next thing, now I'm going to be measuring out the neck width and the neck depth. So for the neck width and the neck depth, I'm going to be using the bust circumference divided by 10 or divided by 12. Next thing to measure now is our shoulder slope. The shoulders are not straight and we need to alter our pattern to feel the same. So we're going to connect that shoulder slope to the neckline. The next thing to do now is to determine our armhole tightening. Our armhole tightening is to eliminate any excess fabric around the armhole. So what are we going to do? We're going to determine whatever measurement we have around that part, divide it by 2 and come down by half of an inch. Yes, so that is not going to stay exactly on the center of the armhole. We're going to come down by 0.5. Now, after connecting that to the shoulder, we're going to use a curved ruler. It can be a French curve or a multi-purpose curve, and connect it like so. So here we are connecting it to the bust measurement we marked earlier. Then we simply connect the bust and the waist measurement together. Our bodice is already taking shape now. The next thing to do is to draft out our dart. The allowance is already inside, so now let's draft it out. So to determine the placement of our dart, we're going to be using the bust span measurement, also known as the nipple to nipple. We measure it out on the nipple line, that is the shoulder to nipple, and also on the waistline. We're going to mark it out and highlight it. Yes, so this is going to be the placement of the dart. We will then measure out our dart allowance on both sides. Yes, if the allowance you add is 1 inch, that will be 0.5 inch on both sides. And if you added 1.5 inch, that will be 0.75 on both sides. So after marking out our dart, the next thing to do is to mark out the bust dart. So the bust dart now is the difference between the front half length and the back half length. Yes, so that is what I'm going to be using here. So I'll just easily highlight my dart, then I'll mark out the bust dart. So step by step now, our front bodice block is almost ready. So the last but not the least thing we're going to do is to do the neckline tightening. Yes, the essence of the neckline tightening is to help us eliminate any excess around the neckline, and this is not going to affect anything. So just remove 0.5 inch on the neckline and connect it to the shoulder. We're done with the front bodice. Let's move on to the back bodice. Here we are also going to be measuring out the shoulder measurement, also known as the back width, on the starting point and on the chest line, and then connect the lines. Next, we're going to measure the bust circumference. Yes, the bust circumference and also the waist circumference. So, but we also measure our neckline, which is our neck width, same neck width we used at the front, and 1 inch standard for the back. So that is it, and we're going to connect it with a curve. After measuring out the neckline, we're going to measure out the shoulder slope. Our shoulder slope for the back is 1 inch standard, and we're going to be connecting this to the neckline. Next, we're going to be measuring out the back tightening. Yes, the back tightening is going to help us eliminate zipper bulge. And after determining our back tightening, here I use 0.75. It is after that back tightening you measure out the waist circumference plus the dart allowance. So we'll connect the lines and also blend the back tightening to the center back. So now our center back is not going to be straight because a human body's back is not straight ideally. So we'll then measure and add back any excess around the bust side, so we will not have any shortage. Next, we're going to be measuring out the bust span on the waistline at the back. Yes, plus the back tightening. So if the bust span, also known as the nipple to nipple, is 3.5, we're going to be adding the back tightening. Yes, so that will be 3.5 plus 0.75 to determine the back dart. We'll do the same thing at the chest line. Yes, so let's just measure it to confirm, and we'll measure it on the chest line also and connect the lines. But now we don't want our dart to get to the chest line, so it will not put a strain on the bust. So we'll come down by 1.5 inch or 2 inch. So that is where the dart is going to get to. So measure 0.5 inch on both sides and connect to that point. Step by step, now we are almost done drafting the back bodice block, and the next thing to do is the armhole tightening at the back. So for the armhole tightening at the back, we are also going to be measuring the armhole we have here, and here we're going to be using the center, then we'll go in by 0.5 inch. So that is what will help us eliminate excess around the armhole at the back. But I'll strongly advise you don't tighten for a plus size client. Yes, just connect it on the straight line to the bust. No need for armhole tightening for a busty client or a plus size client. So this is for a medium size or a very small size, so feel free. And the next thing to do is the neckline tightening. For the neckline tightening at the back, we'll just do 0.25. Yes, that is 1/4 of an inch, and we'll then connect to the shoulder. And that is all about drafting an half scale bodice block. So here now I want to properly highlight some key points on the basic pattern for us. Yes, so now just follow this step by step. So to determine our chest line, we use our back width measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch. So that will be around, if the back width is 14, that will be 7.5, and then the shoulder to nipple and the shoulder to waistline. So after measuring the shoulder measurement on the starting point and also on the chest line, we will then measure the bust circumference and also the waist. And next thing is showing us the neckline tightening at the front. The neckline tightening at the front is 0.5 inch. The neckline tightening at the front is 0.5 inch, which is not going to affect the measurement. And the shoulder slope is 1.5 inch standard. That is for a medium size, 1.5 inch at the front and 1 inch at the back. Next thing is to show us what we use for our neck width and the neck depth. We're going to be using the bust measurement divided by 10 or bust measurement divided by 12. So that is what the answer gotten will be used for the neck width and the neck depth. So next is the armhole tightening. For the armhole tightening for a medium size, we used 0.5 inch to tighten the armhole. You can use this for a plus size or for a bigger size also. It works perfectly. Connect it to the shoulder and then connect whatever excess you have with a curved ruler to the bust. So the last but not the least is the bust dart. So the bust dart is going to be the difference between the front half length and the back half length. So this is what will help us match up the front and the back. Yes, did you notice that it is kind of different? So that is by the time you close that bust dart, the pattern is going to match up perfectly. If you find this tutorial helpful, do well to subscribe, like, comment and share so other fashion designers can learn. And you can also add where you're watching me from so I can send you a love in my next video. And if there's any topic you want me to teach in my next video, please type it in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video, and I love you all.